Hey everyone, I hope that you're doing well. I just wanted to check in as we're halfway through Unit 4. I hope that you had a happy Halloween and that the Dia de los Muertos observations are going well for you and your loved ones if that's something that you do. Um, I'll share some articles about Dia de los Muertos, about its history, but also about the role it's come to play in Mexican American and Hispanic families and communities in the United States. There's been some concern and some discussion about the commercialization of that holiday and observance, and so some really interesting things. If you're interested, I'll share those in the activity feed in Brightspace, and probably also on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, I read through your Twitter work on Unit 4. If you haven't yet done those, I did put the zeros in that column in the gradebook just to kind of signify that we've moved past that due date. But you can always still submit those. So if you're just a little behind, it's okay, don't sweat it. You can still get those in as soon as you have the chance for credit. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Also, I'm going to share a link to an extra credit activity that you can do if you would like. It's about Eva Perón. We had some interesting conversations about her, specifically in terms of the Mike Wallace piece that I gave you in the video section for Unit 4. So it is important to take a critical eye to things like that, especially when it's not a documentary, it's a news piece from the time when Eva Perón and her husband had come to power in Argentina, and it's a look at an American reporter's way of presenting her to a U.S. audience. So we need to keep that in mind. We need to keep in mind the context of the time in which it was created in the 1950s, and think about what that means in terms of the ways that Mike Wallace talks about Eva Perón. It's very misogynistic, as some of you have pointed out on Twitter, and it's a very problematic portrayal of her. But given that, what value does it have? What does it tell us about society in the U.S., the ways that U.S. Men thought about women in power at that time? What can it tell us, if anything, about Eva Perón herself? And so again, if you're interested in delving more into that, earning a little extra credit, there's that opportunity for you. I think those are the major things I wanted to point out. Oh, I did want to mention that next week, the 8th through the 12th, I will be in Ciudad Chihuahua doing some research for my book project. I have a fellowship this year for that, so I will be slower to respond to emails and things like that, but I'll still respond. So please, still keep in contact with me however you do. Just to let you know, I'll be a little slower to get back to you next week. All right, I think that's everything. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you again soon.